Welcome back for another success tip here with Destiny Global. Here on the Destiny Global Facebook page, myself, Ms. Carmen O'Quinn, Mr. Kim Brown, and Dr. April Brown come on live to be able to share success tips with you, completely free to help you grow your personal life, your business, your finances, to be able to help you have more success in your life. And tonight I'm going to share with you one powerful skill that can help you explode your income, explode your paycheck. One strategy is less skill, more strategy. So this is going to be one incredible strategy. And I'll break it all down for you here in a moment. But let me just tell you, we have a First Step to Success event coming up. And if you are not registered for this event, I encourage you to get registered right away. This event is going to fill up and is most likely going to sell out. So I encourage you to go to www.firststepstosuccess.com. First, F-I-R-S-T, steps, S-T-E-P-S, to T-O, success, S-U-C-C-E-S-S.com. Firststepstosuccess.com. Look forward to seeing you there. Okay, let's talk about a powerful strategy that can explode your income and really grow your paycheck, essentially. Let's talk about why do most people work? Most people work for two reasons: survival and things, if we're going to be honest. Most people are going to work every single day to pay the bills. They're paying the bills. They're just trying to get by. A lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck though. Why? Well, because they got student loans, medical debt, car debt, they got house debt, they got, light bill, credit card payments, whatever. And they're literally living paycheck to paycheck. And then what happens is we go through life and we get a raise, and maybe we get a nicer car, maybe we get a nicer house. That's the stuff, right? And we work, we take that vacation, we do that thing. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is at some point it can start to feel like it's just, like you're on this treadmill and you can't get off of it. And you can sometimes wonder, what am I doing this all for? And I had a friend of mine one time who was going to start a business, and she said to me, one of my biggest fears about starting a business is if I actually grow my income, if I start my own business and I grow my income, are all my problems just going to be bigger, larger? Or, am I just going to have a bigger house? Am I just going to have a bigger car or a nicer car, a more expensive car? Am I just going to go on more expensive vacations and stay stuck in the same place that I'm in right now? And I said, well, the truth is you'll probably never actually grow your income. And she said, why? I said, because you're too scared. You've got a fearful block, sort of a block of you're either fearful of becoming greedy or you're fearful of the same financial turmoil that you're stuck in right now. And I gave her this strategy, and I said, what you have to do is you have to reshift your mindset on what your work is all about. And you have to start right now with where you're at. And so let me explain to you what I told her. I said, it's important that you put purpose to money, purpose to your paycheck. So it's not the size of your paycheck that makes you wealthy. It's the purpose that you give the paycheck, meaning that ultimately you'll just make more money when you become passionate about the reason that you're going to work every single day. If the reason you're going to work every single day is just for me, only me, and by the way, when I say only me, I mean just to move my family forward. At some point, the truth is you may want a little more, but you're okay. And you'll kind of stop at the point that you're okay. One strategy to go beyond okay and that can take you to the next level, can take a lot of people to the next level, is to be able to have some sort of social cause that you attach your business, your work life, your paycheck to. And that can help propel you forward. That can give you that motivation to move forward. And it removes the fear of like being greedy when you're using your money to be able to help someone else. One of the things that our CEO, Mr. Kim Brown, likes to say is he says, at Destiny Global, our goal is to help you make more money so you can do more things and so you can give more. Make more, do more, have more. Make more, do more, and give more. So ultimately, it's the giving. It's giving more to things that you're passionate about. And that doesn't matter if it's tithing in church. It doesn't matter if it's St. Jude's Hospital, for example, or It doesn't actually matter as long as it's something that you're passionate about. Now, I'm not going spiritual here. Yeah, there's some spiritual principles about tithing, and I personally believe in those principles. It's okay if you don't. One of the things that makes those principles true, though, is when you care about what you're giving to, you work a little bit harder. Our kids, I should say two of our three kids, all three of our kids, my wife and I, Carmen and I, they have a business. And when they make money, they know that a certain percentage of the money they make in their business goes to giving. And it's very interesting. Do they like to make money and buy things? Of course they do. They know when they make money, they get a certain amount, they get to spend however they want. And they'll be glad to tell you what they're going to do with it. But it's dual. It's not one or the other. The other thing they know is, Mom, do I have enough to buy a house yet in, say, Nicaragua? Or, Honduras. We got a project we're working on down there in Honduras right now. We did Nicaragua previously. Or they've sponsored a child. So do I have enough money to do X, Y, Z yet? So they know when they work, their work isn't just about what am I going to do with my money, what am I going to buy, but it's also connected to who I'm helping, what impact I'm making. The other thing that you want to be able to do is you want to look at the bigger picture of not just the paycheck, but the purpose behind your actual work. So, for example, I recently was coaching a client, and she was talking about her sales team she works with. They sell final expense plans. These are basically insurance policies for people who, they don't want to leave their loved ones. Maybe they don't have life insurance, or maybe they do, but they don't want to leave their loved ones with the burden of having to bury them or spend the money on their funeral or cremation or whatever. And so I was talking to her and I said, listen, these salespeople, it's not just about the money they make when they sell this insurance product. I said, it's about what they're doing. They're providing peace of mind and security for these people, for these families. It is a burden off of your shoulders. It is a complete burden off of your shoulders when you know that your loved ones aren't going to have to worry about that. And I said, it's more important for them to understand the impact of their work and what they're doing. Now, you may be saying, oh, I don't do anything that impactful. I just, work as a secretary or receptionist at this office. Well, what does the office do? What does this business do? They need someone to serve that role. Your role is very important. You help them serve the greater need. I'll go here with you. Many years ago, my mom used to work she was a receptionist, and she worked with a company that they just sold commercial refrigeration equipment. Like if you ever go into convenience stores or grocery stores and you see like where they have the drinks and there's like a cooler there that you open, those types of cabinets, those are the things they sold. The ice machines in there, that's what they sold. And she worked as a receptionist. Well, one of the things that I will never forget her telling me, she was like, it's because of us that our company's able to allow these businesses to have the businesses they have. It was bigger than just that the company she was at sold a product. It's that the product they sold allowed other businesses to succeed. Those other businesses help other small entrepreneurs in many cases have successful businesses. Without them, those companies could not be as successful. So when she took phone calls, she had that sort of empathy when she was taking those phone calls as the receptionist. When you look at your work differently and you put purpose to money, you're going to naturally excel. You're going to separate yourself. One of the things that we talk about at First Steps to Success, we do it once or twice a year. At the last event we just had, we covered it. We cover what we call employpreneur. And part of being an employpreneur is taking a bit of an ownership role in your work and recognizing the bigger picture of the actual work that you do. The easiest way to do that is recognize the higher impact of your work. It's not just answering the telephone if you're the receptionist. It's supporting the greater mission of what the company does. Even if the owner doesn't say it, even if your manager, your boss doesn't say it, you know what it is. It's about the impact that you're having in that job, not just that you're helping, on the phone. Here's another thing. It's not just moving the business forward by answering the phone. It's how are you blessing the people when you help them on that telephone. If you are kind to people, if you speak an encouraging word to them as you're interacting with them, for a lot of people, that might be the only encouragement they get all day. So when you recognize there's purpose in your work, there's purpose in your money, then there's a bit of a ripple effect that starts to happen. Your work impact grows. You're likely to get promoted, by the way, in that position. If you do something like sales and you put impact behind the sales that you're doing, you put purpose behind the actual work that you do, then you're going to excel. You're going to do a lot better. You're going to feel better about the work that you're doing. When I was coaching this one client about her sales team, I said, listen, when they understand what they're doing is important, then they're going to feel a lot better about doing it. Is every sales appointment going to go great? Are they going to get disappointed at times? Absolutely, they're going to get disappointed. Of course, that's the nature of sales. But when the disappointment doesn't matter as much when you recognize the positive impact that your clients and customers have who do purchase your product. When you hear them thank you later, then that thank you hits a little bit deeper when you recognize what you're doing. When it's only about the money, your motivation can only go so far. You can only feel so good about what you're doing if it's only about the money. And then even if you accomplish a goal, even if you're like, I want to get a job, I want to get a promotion, I want to get this raise, and you successfully achieve that, it's going to be empty. Like there's nothing beyond that. It's like, what's beyond that? Just more for the sake of more, for the sake of more. At some point, you either hit a place where you're saying, what do I need more for? Or you hit a comfort zone. How do you break your comfort zone? The easiest way to break your comfort zone is to put purpose behind your work and put purpose behind your money. And when you understand that, you'll recognize it's more important that you go to work and that you live your highest, best life, that you achieve your goals. It's so much more because it's not just about what we can do, it's what we get to do it for, what we get to do work for, what we get to live our life for, why we get to start our businesses, why do we get to grow our business. By the way, if you're an entrepreneur, your work is so impactful. No matter what you're doing, you're serving somebody else. You're serving a client or a customer in some way. You're trying to help them and benefit them in some way. If you're a builder, you're building homes that house families in some way. You're also providing jobs, peace of mind, security for other people. Your business is such an incredible vehicle. And all too often, entrepreneurs don't take their business, they tend to take it for granted. They don't value it because they sort of get complacent. They just, they get tired of hearing clients or customers or employees complain. Complaints are part of life. Everybody complains. But the purpose helps you rise above. The impact that you're making helps you rise above the complaint and the uncertainty. And it's all about you building your best business for your community, for the people that you serve, and for your coworkers. There are plenty of coworkers who do want to work hard, who do want opportunity, who do want to get ahead, and you provide that opportunity for them. It is incredible what you get to do. And you have the ability to build a business. Not everyone's cut out to build a business. I think everyone can have a part-time business, and I am a strong advocate for everyone earning a part-time income for lots of reasons. But of course, to be able to grow their impact and their purpose, but also for stability, financial stability, and I could go, that's a whole nother topic that I talk about sometimes at First Step Success. But let me just say this. Make certain that when you're going to work, you don't take your work and your abilities for granted. If you're an entrepreneur, not everyone has the ability to have the stress of their sole income being at the work of their own hands or their own business. But you have the ability to do that. You've proven it because you're in business right now for yourself. Understand that talent is a talent. That skill, it is a skill, is a gift. Don't take your business for granted. Don't take your employees for granted. Don't take your clients and customers for granted. It's not just about the income, it's about the impact. Now listen, let me tell you, I want to keep this brief. I don't want to give you value, but I encourage you tonight when you get done, or even in the comments, if you want to just share one area where you're putting purpose to your money or purpose to your business. And I promise you, this will grow your income. It will absolutely grow your income because all of a sudden, the reason you go to work is just elevated. And your income will match that elevation based on your perspective and the impact that you want to have. And we oftentimes work harder for extrinsic. We work for several reasons: to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. But the pleasure of doing something bigger than just our own life and our own financial security, doing something bigger, that purpose will oftentimes cause us to rise above naturally anyway. I could go on and on this topic. Join us at our next First Step Success. You're going to hear from Dr. April Brown herself. This is an impactful woman. You're here from Mr. Ken Brown. Mr. Ken Brown, CEO of the company, used to work with Ross Perot himself. If you don't know who Ross Perot is, you should look him up. Rossperot, one of America's great billionaires of the past. Did extraordinary things, was an incredible human, ran for president of the U.S. for real. But that's the caliber of the leadership with Destiny Global. You're going to hear from myself, who I'm a master trainer, and my wife, Carmen O'Quinn, Jackie O'Quinn, and Carmen O'Quinn. And we're going to be spending 3 days with you and pouring into you and trying to help you. The whole goal is to help you level up your skill set, level up your life, so you can make more, do more, have more, and give more. If you want to succeed, the number one strategy to explode your income is to add purpose to money and add purpose to your work. It will grow your impact and grow your income. Have a great night. Have a great day. God bless.